Good morning and welcome to the channel. It's time to paint. Today's the day. I did prime everything 2 days ago, and yesterday I actually had a bit of time at the end of the day where I painted the ceilings as well. We'll wait for the sun to come up a little more to see if I need a second coat on the ceilings, but it does look pretty good right now. And if that's the case and it doesn't need a second coat, I can go ahead and start painting the walls. There's a few prep things I have to do. I'll give you a quick tour. Here's the painted ceiling. It looks good. It's hard to tell if it's complete coverage, so I'll wait till some more light comes into the building to see. I did a second coat of paint on the shiplap. It's a pastel bluish color. That will go into the bathroom. I painted the ceiling bathroom and the bedroom bathroom. And I also, turn on a light here, I also installed crown molding last night as well in the bedroom. Pretty simple profile. I caulked it. I just have to go around and fill in the nail holes, and then that will be done. And then I'll end up doing a second coat of ceiling paint in the bathroom as well, just for that extra protection against humidity and moisture. It will be pretty much ready to paint now. So the goal for today then would be to do the second coat of paint in the bathroom, paint the bedroom ceiling again as well, because the crown molding will actually just get flat ceiling paint on it. There won't be trim paint or anything, just to make it blend in a little more. So I'll just end up painting the whole ceiling again. And once that's done, I'll jump to the main area and prep and start painting the wall color, which will be good. In a couple days, the flooring will get dropped off, which will go into the middle here until I'm back up next week to install it, just in the off chance that I don't get all the walls done. At least the flooring will be out of the way at that point. So let's jump into the bedroom and fill in those nail holes so it has time to dry, and then I can paint it. I picked up a couple of supplies, a paint tray, a new cage and roller. I have 2 cages, but a third one is nice. Just when you have multiple colors happening, it's quicker and more efficient to have the paint ready to go in case you have to jump back and forth between rooms in different colors, just to have it prepped and ready to go. And then a 10mm nap roller for the walls. And here's my spackling I'll use to fill in those nail holes. This is pretty straightforward. I just get a little bit on the corner of my knife. You could just put it on your finger as well. Make sure I put the lid back on because this stuff does dry pretty quickly. I use my finger, and if the camera picks up on it, you can see my nail holes here. I push it in tightly to make sure the hole is filled, and then I rub lightly, and the action of going back and forth usually creates enough friction and heat where it starts to dry right away actually, which is ideal. MDF does have a tendency to mushroom when you put nails into it, which definitely causes issues with the finished product. It's a little hit and miss depending how the nail goes in, but I have come across a few nails that have mushroom and like volcano bulged out, so I'll have to make sure I sand those flush so it's less noticeable. Fortunately, it is the ceiling paint that will go onto it, which is a matte finish, and it can hide some stuff, but obviously it's still nice to go for the best finish you can. So I'll just go around and fill in all these nail holes, and then give that a chance to dry. Go paint the bathroom ceiling. By the time I paint that, hopefully this is all dry and I can do a second coat on this ceiling as well as the crown molding. And then the main area. Alright, before I jump into the bathroom to the ceiling, there was a little bit of a mark that I had to put some spackle in, so I'll wait for that to dry. But I'm actually going to go ahead and prep these walls, and what that looks like is taking some sandpaper. Basically, we have 2 different textures after I mudded. We have the smooth mud finish, and then the paper drywall finish of the drywall. And when you apply the primer, as the primer dries, it brings out the fibers from the drywall paper and stiffens them up. It raises them up, and the mud obviously doesn't have any fibers in it. It's already smooth, so you have 2 different sheens, 2 different textures on the wall. And if you go ahead and paint over that, sometimes depending, it could cover a knot flash and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference, but in hopes to have better coverage with my wall color paint and to avoid any flashing, and to get a better result, especially with these big windows and natural light, I am going to go over it with the sandpaper and knock off those dry paper fibers that come out from the drywall. And after I do that, I'll knock down all those bristles, and the mud and the paper faced drywall will have the same texture on it, and it will hopefully look the same, and you won't be able to tell the difference when the light catches it differently. That wall's done. The whole thing is sanded, knocked off all those bristles. Again, this wall is going to be the most noticeable because it's the first thing you walk in and see, and the light hits it horizontally. So any imperfections, especially sheen, different sheens, it will, you'll see it. You'll see the flashing and the difference. So I want to make sure that that one's good. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up all of these real quick, and by that time the ceiling in the bathroom should be ready to be painted again, as well as the bedroom. The bedroom is painted, the ceiling and the crown molding. The crown molding will need one more coat of paint, just the way it is, but ceiling is done, so I'm going to jump out and begin the wall color in the main area. Big old bucket. This is a little embarrassing. I don't actually have an empty can that I can use to cut in. Basically, it's nice to have your tray with your paint and then an empty can with a bit of paint in it to do your cut-ins. So I'm going to have to find something that will work for that. I like to make sure the roller is saturated with paint so there's less dry spots and it's more likely to go onto the wall evenly and less blotchy. So now I'm ready to go. I'll start on that big wall and put you on a time lapse. The reason I go back up over to where I've brushed against the wall is because it's an off angle, so my roller looks stepped if I leave it as is, and by following the same angle as the ceiling with my roller, I can blend it in a lot better. So I'm going to carry on with this and probably do a couple more time lapses, but I'll get back to you when we're done and see where we're at. That's it, I finished. That little section was the last bit in the study room area. Other than that, it's all painted with the first coat. It's probably gonna need two, I would imagine, but we'll see once it dries how it has covered. That's gonna do it for today's video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.